Hello everyone, Lance here, and welcome back. In this video, I'm gonna cover the glued wood as well as the plywood materials. So let's start with the glued wood, and let me just drop in the glued wood onto these two objects and render. You see, we have a bunch of vertical blocks of wood that were glued together into a larger block. In the case of this monkey, the glued wood was carved into the shape of a monkey head, so it looks like this. So let's have a look at the material. We have three main nodes. We have the usual wood generator and the wood shader nodes. And then back here we have this glued wood node. This node cut the input texture coordinate into blocks like this, and you see each block has a different texture coordinate in order to cut a different slice of wood from the tree. And this vector is fed into the wood generator to generate this texture, and then we feed the textures into the wood shader to get the final result. So let's have a look at the parameters of the glued wood cutter, and we have the texture settings. This is the randomization of the output vector. So if we reset everything to 0, so you see all the pieces have the same texture coordinate. If we feed this into the wood generator, we will have somewhat the same, but let me get rid of the random seed as well. So if we feed this into the generator, you see we have somewhat the same slice of wood for every block. And let me put this back on here. Okay. And next we have the random output. This is the random value for each block, and you can use this random value to randomize the color as well as the seed for the wood generator. And next we have the block ID. Now, normally you don't need the block ID, but in case you want to generate some more randomized values, you can use this block ID to feed into a white noise texture to generate some randomized values. And down here you have the color, the random color, and you can separate this random color into XYZ like that. And you see you have three sets of randomized values. And if you need even more random values, then you can feed one of these channels into another white noise texture like this. And again, you can separate XYZ to get three more unique white noise textures. And you can repeat this over and over to generate even more randomized values like this, and then like this, and you have a bunch of randomized values. Okay, let's close this texture settings panel. Next, we have the X, Y, and Z parameters. Now, these parameters control the shape of the block. We have the size for the X direction, the Y size, and the Z size. These parameters control the size of the blocks, like that. And we have the randomness value. If we increase the randomness to 1, we have randomized size for the blocks. If I lower this randomness to 0, and then you see all the blocks have the same width. All right. And if I lower the random Y to 0 as well, so you see all the block has the same size in the Y direction. And likewise, we have the Z randomness. You see now all the blocks have the same height. Next we have the offset values. These values will move the blocks like this, like that, and like that. And finally we have the jigsaw parameters. These parameters will create a jigsaw edge for the blocks. For example, if I set this to, let's say, 1 centimeter, then we have the 1 centimeter jigsaw in the X direction, but the Y direction remains flat. And to have jigsaw in the Y direction as well, you have to increase the jigsaw height in the Y direction to 1 centimeter as well. There we go. So the height of the jigsaw is now 1 centimeter, but you can set this to any number you want. For example, 0.02. There we go. And you can change the size of the jigsaw as well. For example, 0.005. And there we go. But you have to be careful about the jigsaw, right? Because normally the jigsaw will go in one direction only. So if you have the X jigsaw, then the Y jigsaw should be set to 0. And if you have the Y jigsaw, then the X one should be set to 0. Otherwise, if you accidentally cut through the jigsaw up here, it's gonna look very weird. Let me set this to 0.01 as well. And let me offset the Z direction. There we go. So you see, this is the result of the jigsaw when you cut through them. All right. So it's very weird. So use one jigsaw direction only. All right. And finally, we have this seed value. This will randomize the texture within the blocks. Alright, that is all about the glued wood, and you can find the glued wood in the core notes. Alright, next let's have a look at the plywood materials. And in order to demonstrate the plywood, we need a flat piece of wood. So we have this flat box object right here, and let's go ahead and drop in a piece of plywood. There we go. So if you look at the edge of the plywood, you see we have alternating layers like this. Now, if you look from the top, as you can see, we have some kind of repeating going on. But if you look closely, the wood texture kind of changes for every repeat. The repeat is not exactly the same. Now, in order to understand why plywood looks like this, you have to understand how the plywood was made in the first place. Now, suppose this is a tree trunk, right? And in order to turn this tree trunk into plywood, they first unroll the tree trunk into a very thin sheet of wood like this until it reaches the center. And this sheet is very, very thin, not this big, all right? So each cycles kind of go very, very close together like this. You see, the texture at this point and this point is kind of similar, right? And then this point is also similar to this point, and this point is similar to this point. But you see, for each cycle, the cut went in a bit, so the texture should also change a little bit. And let's have a look at the wood material, at the plywood. So this is the very center of the tree, and it's gonna unroll toward this side and this side. So if you look at the very center of the tree, you see the unrolling is very quick, but further away from the center, the unrolling has to go a very long distance before a repeat. So you see at the very center of the tree, the repeat is very quick, but the further away from the center, the longer the repeat. All right. So let me show you what that means. I'm going to increase this slide to something very high. This is a very long distance away from the center. And you see, the repeat is very long and we can barely see any repeat at all. But at the very center, we can see a lot of repeat. So depending on where you cut this sheet, you will have a different kind of texture. If you cut this piece from the sheet, right, you will have a lot of repeating texture. But if you cut, let's say, this piece, right, then you will have almost no repeat whatsoever. So that is how plywood was made in reality. Now, let's have a look at this plywood cutter. We have the layer thickness, which is the thickness of these layers. And we have the seed to randomize the textures within the layers. And then we have the spiral settings to control how we unroll the tree trunk. This is the position of the center. You can offset this to somewhere else. Normally, the center should be set to 0, but if you want to cheat a bit and try to get a different look for the plywood, you can move the center to someplace else. Let's say 3 by 3. So now the unrolling is completely different. And you have the gap distance. This is the distance in between the spiral, right? This distance. You can also call it the growth factor as well. Now, if you want to imitate reality perfectly, you should have the layer thickness and the gap distance to be the same, right? For example, I'm gonna use this number here, right? And I'm gonna connect this number to both of these parameters, all right? So this is the correct way to make plywood, but in many cases, you might want to have some kind of artistic control, so you can set these two parameters separately. Okay, next, let's have a look at the output of the plywood cutter. We have the vector, and again, each layer has a different vector to randomize the cut from the wood generator. And then we have the layer ID, which is just a linear ID going from the very bottom. And then we have the alternating value for each layer. And then we have the same alternating values, but flipped from white to black and from black to white. And then we have the random value for each layer. And again, I use this random value to randomize the colors of the wood material. Okay, that is everything in this tutorial series. I hope you find this material collection useful in your project. And once again, thank you for buying. I'll see you next time.